Hello, my friends. Dr. James here. Let me ask you something. Do you ever find yourself waking up in the middle of the night, staring at the ceiling, and wondering why can't I just fall back asleep? You're not alone. As we age, our bodies naturally change the way they handle sleep. Waking up once or twice during the night can be completely normal. But if you're finding it hard to drift back to sleep, night after night, that's when it becomes frustrating. So in today's video, I'm going to share my most effective doctor-backed strategies to help you fall back asleep quickly and naturally. I'll also walk you through 4 common habits you must avoid at night, because they're secretly making it harder for your body to relax again. These are the same techniques I teach my patients in the clinic, and they truly work, especially for seniors and adults who wake up often between 1 and 3 a.m. Why you wake up in the middle of the night. Before we jump into the solutions, let's talk about why this happens in the first place, because understanding the why gives you control. Here's what happens. When you're drifting into sleep, your core body temperature begins to rise slightly, peaking around 10:30 p.m. After that, it begins to slowly drop, and that cooling process triggers your brain to release melatonin, the hormone that signals your body that it's time to rest. Now, during the night, your temperature continues to fall until it hits its lowest point. Then, around 1 to 3 a.m., it starts to rise again. That upward swing often transitions you into a lighter stage of sleep. For younger adults, the body can usually stay in deeper sleep stages longer. But for seniors, those deep stages shorten over time. So, those small temperature changes can easily trigger an awakening, even if you've been asleep for several hours. Now you might be thinking, okay, Dr. James, I get the science. But what can I actually do about it? Well, first, we need to talk about the most common mistakes I see, because most people accidentally sabotage their own rest without realizing it. Avoid looking at the clock. Let's start with the first big one. Don't look at the clock. I know, it sounds harmless. You wake up, glance over, and think, it's 2:17 a.m. Great, I've only got a few hours left. But that single glance does something powerful. It pulls your brain out of rest mode and into calculation mode. You start doing mental math. If I fall asleep right now, I'll get 3 more hours. That anxious thought spikes your heart rate and triggers your stress response, the exact opposite of what you need to fall back asleep. Here's the key fact. To enter deep, unconscious sleep, your heart rate must drop below about 60 beats per minute. Anything higher, and your brain stays alert. So the goal isn't just to close your eyes and relax, it's to keep your heart rate low and your mind calm. And one of the simplest ways to do that is to stop checking the clock altogether. Avoid looking at your phone. The second mistake, and one of the biggest culprits, is reaching for your phone. It's an easy trap. You wake up, reach for the nightstand, and suddenly you're checking the time, seeing notifications, maybe even scrolling without realizing it. Here's the problem. The light from your phone, even on dim mode, stimulates your optic nerve, which sends a signal straight to your brain that it's morning. That suppresses melatonin production and makes your brain more alert. The result? You've just told your body it's time to wake up. Plus, every notification, every thought that pops up from reading a message or headline, it all raises your heart rate and anxiety levels. If your phone doubles as your alarm clock, here's my advice. Turn it face down or use a simple digital clock with a dim red light instead. Keep the room dark and calm. Remember, your goal is to keep your brain in rest mode, not response mode. Avoid going to the bathroom. Now here's a tricky one, and I say this carefully. Try to avoid unnecessary bathroom trips. If you genuinely need to go, of course, go. Don't hold it in. But here's what often happens. Many people wake up and assume they need to pee, even when the urge is weak, so they get up anyway. The problem is, every time you stand up, walk to the bathroom, and return to bed, your heart rate climbs. You've shifted your body from horizontal rest to full movement. exactly what your body interprets as wake up time. And just like that, you've lost your momentum to fall back asleep. Now again, if your bladder is full, please go. But if it's just a mild feeling, try lying still, relaxing your breathing, and giving it a few minutes. Often, the urge fades on its own. This small change alone can help many people stay asleep through the night. Avoid turning on the lights. And finally, avoid turning on bright lights, even for just a moment. Light exposure is one of the most powerful signals to your body's circadian rhythm, your internal clock that regulates when you feel awake or tired. When bright light hits your eyes in the middle of the night, your brain stops releasing melatonin and instantly shifts toward alertness. It thinks it's morning. So if you must get up, keep a soft nightlight in your hallway or bathroom, something warm, dim, and gentle on the eyes. That way, you can move safely without disrupting your body's sleep signals. Another trick? Keep a small glass of water on your nightstand so you don't have to walk to the kitchen if you get thirsty. Remember, every little movement, every light, every glance at the clock, it all adds up to one message to your brain. We're awake. Keep the environment dark, calm, and distraction-free, and your body has a much easier time slipping back into sleep. Tip 1, 4-7-8 breathing. Now let's move on to what I consider one of the most powerful techniques to quiet your mind and lower your heart rate, the 4-7-8 breathing method. If you've heard of it before, great. But if not, let me explain exactly why it works. This simple breathing pattern is designed to slow down your heart rate, calm your nervous system, and gently shift your body from the fight or flight mode into the rest and repair mode. Here's how you do it. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold that breath for a count of 7. Then exhale gently through your mouth for a count of 8. And I want to emphasize something important. Don't force the air in or out. It's not a hard exhale or a loud inhale. This should feel effortless, quiet, and controlled. What's happening here is both mechanical and physiological. You're extending your breath to fill the lungs completely, and that extra oxygen tells your heart it can relax. The heart rate drops, blood pressure stabilizes, and the brain releases calming neurochemicals. When your breathing slows down, your body receives a signal that says, "You're safe. It's okay to rest." Now, here's something I tell all my patients. Not everyone can drop their heart rate to exactly 60 beats per minute, and that's perfectly fine. If your resting heart rate is normally higher, focus on lowering it by at least 10 to 15 beats from where it was when you first woke up. That small shift alone can make a world of difference in how fast you fall back asleep. So the next time you wake up in the middle of the night, don't overthink it. Just begin 4-7-8 breathing. Within a few minutes, you'll likely feel that soft wave of drowsiness returning and your body easing back toward rest. Tip 2, mind focusing technique. Now let's talk about something I personally use whenever my brain refuses to quiet down, the mind focusing technique. It's a modern spin on counting sheep, but it's far more effective. And it's based on a psychological principle called cognitive distraction. Here's how it works. When you focus your mind on a simple, repetitive mental task, you stop it from wandering toward anxious thoughts or mental to-do lists. It creates a gentle rhythm that quiets the noise. One of my favorite ways to do this is to count backward from 300 by threes. So you start with 300, then 297, 294, 291, and so on. It sounds simple, but that's exactly why it works. It's just challenging enough to occupy your mind, but not stimulating enough to keep you alert. Your brain gradually tires from the repetition, your breathing slows naturally, and before you know it, you're drifting off again. Here's how I often combine it. I'll start with 10 cycles of 4-7-8 breathing to bring my heart rate down, and then I shift into counting backward from 300 by threes. Think of it as handing your brain something calm and quiet to focus on, instead of letting it chase after worries or random thoughts. If you reach 0, congratulations, you've had an excellent night's mental exercise. but most people never make it past 240. Tip 3. Jacobsonian progressive muscle relaxation. Now let's take things one step further into the body itself. This next method is called Jacobsonian progressive muscle relaxation, and it's one of the most effective techniques to release physical tension and prepare the body for deep sleep. Here's why it's so powerful. Many older adults don't even realize how much tension they hold in their muscles while lying in bed. Tight shoulders, clenched jaws, stiff calves. All of this sends subtle signals to your brain that you're still in alert mode. Progressive muscle relaxation teaches you to recognize that tension and release it, one muscle group at a time. Here's how you do it. Start with your feet. Tense your toes gently, not painfully. Hold for about 30 seconds and then release completely. Feel the difference between tight and relaxed. Then move to your calves. Tighten both for 30 seconds, hold, and release. Continue upward. Your thighs, your abdomen, your chest, your shoulders, your hands, your jaw, all the way to your forehead. Each time, breathe deeply as you tense, and then exhale as you release. What you're doing is retraining your nervous system to recognize relaxation as the normal state for bedtime. The more you practice this technique, the more your body learns how to shift quickly from tension to calmness. It's like teaching your muscles how to power down. And here's something beautiful about it. Even if you don't fall asleep immediately, this process gives your body the same physiological rest that comes from sleep itself. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, and your breathing becomes steady. It's a full body reset, one that brings both physical and mental stillness. Non-sleep deep rest, NSDR. Now, this next concept is incredibly important, especially if you've tried all the techniques and still find yourself awake. It's called non-sleep deep rest, or NSDR, and it's one of the most reassuring ideas in modern sleep medicine. Here's what it means. Even if you're not technically asleep, as long as you're lying in bed, your eyes are closed, your breathing is calm, and your heart rate is low, your body is still restoring energy. That's right. You're still healing, still recharging, even if you never fully drift off. For every hour of non-sleep deep rest, research shows you can gain the equivalent of about 20 minutes of restorative sleep. That means you don't have to panic when you're awake in the dark. You're not losing as much rest as you think. The key is to stay relaxed. Don't reach for your phone. Don't turn on the lights. Don't stress. Just breathe deeply. Maybe do your muscle relaxation and allow your mind to hover in that calm, dreamy in-between state. Your brain waves during NSDR actually mimic those seen during light sleep, which means your body is still doing essential recovery work. So the next time you wake up and can't fall back asleep, remember this. You're not failing to rest. You're still restoring yourself. That understanding alone can ease the frustration that often keeps people awake. When you let go of the pressure to force sleep, sleep often returns naturally on its own. All right, my friends, I know we covered a lot today, but if you've made it this far, you now have a complete science-backed toolkit to fall back asleep quickly and calmly. No pills, no gimmicks, just practical techniques that work with your body's natural rhythm. To recap, when you wake up in the middle of the night, the first step is to avoid stimulation. No clock, no phone, no bright lights, and no unnecessary bathroom trips. Then, focus on calming the body through slow, mindful breathing, gentle muscle relaxation, and mental techniques like counting backward or focusing your mind. And finally, remember that even if sleep doesn't come right away, you can still enter that powerful state of non-sleep deep rest, where your body and brain continue to restore themselves. I truly want you to know something. Waking up at night doesn't mean your body is broken. It's simply asking for a little support, a little understanding. And once you start treating those awakenings as an opportunity to relax rather than a battle to win, everything begins to change. So tonight, if you find yourself awake at 2 or 3 a.m., don't panic, don't fight it. Just breathe. Let your body do what it's naturally built to do. Trust the process, and I promise, over time, your nights will become quieter, deeper, and more restorative than you've experienced in years. And if you've been struggling for a while, especially if you wake up feeling tired every morning, or if your partner says you snore or gasp during sleep, it's worth checking for sleep apnea. It's far more common in seniors than most people realize, and it often goes undiagnosed. The good news is, home sleep tests today are incredibly easy, comfortable, and accurate, and they can completely change the way you rest and feel each day. Now, before we wrap up, I want to ask you for a small favor. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps this information reach more people. Maybe someone in your life who desperately needs better sleep but doesn't know where to start. And I'd love to hear from you personally. Have any of these tips helped you? Do you have your own bedtime rituals that work for you? Drop your story in the comments below. I read them, and sometimes your experience becomes the spark that helps someone else finally get the rest they deserve. If you want to keep improving your sleep, don't stop here. This is Dr. James, wishing you peace, health, and the kind of deep, restorative rest that helps you wake up feeling alive, clear, and ready to take on a brand new day. Take care, and as always, sleep well, my friends.